what happened last year for me in the year of our Lord 2024.
Okay, what happened last year? 2024 was a shit show. Like,
I just
what happened?
had to confront all of my fears.
Yeah, all of them.
All
Yeah.
of them.
Okay,
It's true.
I believe you.
All of them.
Yeah, 2024 sucks.
And it felt like I was breaking. It felt like a complete nervous breakdown doesn't even give it justice. It just felt like I was slipping away into darkness and into places in my psyche that I wasn't going to come back from. And I was getting really, really scared and really, really broken. And all of it was stuff that I was just kind of dealing with internally and hiding and trying to figure out how to get through, because the year wasn't hard for just me, right? It was hard for both of us. It was a heavy, heavy year for us. And I was getting to the point within my own head and within my own space that I didn't know what was going to happen. And at the same time, I was like, you know, our life was changing and has been changing in so many beautiful ways that I didn't want to lose anything. I wanted my life to continue. And I wanted my life to be this big thing that and big isn't even relative. It's not size-wise. It's just beautiful. We have such a beautiful life. And it's something that I really cherish. And I didn't want to lose it. But things were dark and things were hard. And I mean, you know this because you've been right here with me. Like, a big part of not even last year, but since we've been in Tennessee, was me using a lot of marijuana in order to try to get through and to kind of survive. And it was like I was using marijuana every day, and it felt like it was the only thing that gave me relief. It was the only thing that kind of kept things at bay in a sense, where I could detach enough from my body where I wasn't in pain. And through that detachment from my body, I was experiencing all sorts of like beautiful things through creativity and connection. And then at the same time, I was, struggling when I'd like come back into my body with all the shame and the guilt and all the other things in association with it. And so it just was really some of the darkest periods of my life. And as the year was coming to an end and we were experiencing, because we've had a lot of really great success with the podcast and our life and some of the decisions that we've made up until this point, right? Coming to here to Tennessee and moving and doing all of these kind of different things and transitioning and shifting things up to this big studio in our house and all these other kind of things. It's been exciting. It's been a lot. But it's also, I mean, like behind the scenes, this is stuff that we don't talk a ton about on the podcast because I have shame about it, right? It's the part of me that doesn't want to put things out there that are hard to talk about. But it's like financially, it's just been a nightmare.
Yeah.
I got quote unquote fired from another job this year or last year. And I see it that way on one hand, but then on the other hand, it's like a job that I had already kind of checked out of.
I know. I'm like, why do you keep telling yourself that story?
But that's the thing is I'm not.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm not telling myself that story anymore, but that was a part of what I was telling myself right last year, because that took away all of our financial stability.
Yeah.
And then we were left with the little bit of money that we were making through the podcast, which wasn't a lot. Even in all of this darkness that I'm talking about and how hard things were, I had this thing underneath the surface of all of it that it was like, I'm innocent, I'm pure, I'm loved unconditionally. I mean, I have been scripting in my journal for like 2+ years every single day, all of these little mantras, all of these little affirmations every morning, over and over and over and over again. And I think it just rewired everything. It just changed how I saw myself. It changed how I believed in things. And we had had so many leaps over the last couple of years, like just all out leaps of faith that I believed.
Yeah.
I believed that the universe was carrying me through all of these experiences, and this was going to be no different. And then I listened to the telepathy tapes, and it's all about these amazing kids and all of these things that they can do. And then it starts to expand and grow, and it's like remote viewing and the ability to speak to, communicate and connect with people that have passed away. And it's all of these things that in some capacity we have experienced at some point, that we've touched upon over the course of our relationship in life, with energy healing and spirituality and meditation. And, it's stuff that we learned about in yoga. It's stuff that we've legitimately had experiences with. And then at the end of the telepathy tapes, the final episode of that season, it's this beautiful episode where they're talking to all of these autistic children. And it's not just kids, obviously, right? I mean, there's people that are obviously adults that are non-speaking autistics as well. And it's like, hey, this information is out there. Like, what do you want humanity to know now with all of this stuff? And one of the girls in that mentioned how everybody was born this way, where telepathic communication is how we are all not just supposed to communicate, but that's how we communicate. Like, we're all that way. And then we just get it programmed out of us. We're all born that way, and we're all born with that capacity and that ability and that connection, because again, we're all connected to the same consciousness, to the same universal source. And then what happens with, kids who aren't autistic and who learn the ability to speak and who are literally taught how to speak, because that then just quiets that side of their consciousness and their ability. And instead, now we learn how to talk, and we learn how to move through life that way and communicate that way. And that made so much sense to me, because so much of our healing has been recognizing how we were programmed as children with stories and traumas and experiences and all of these kind of different things that we were given that really quieted who we really were, right? The inner child part of us that really wanted to be seen and loved and validated. So it was like this beautiful totality for me of seeing all of this stuff from all of these different angles. And like when things really started to connect for me, it was like synchronicities were happening so fast. It was like I was seeing things so quickly. I was seeing things from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 days ago. All of this stuff just lining up so quickly, showing me very clearly that it was just like confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. And then I just had like a handful of days where I was in this like incredibly high vibrational kind of like energy. I was, when I say I was moving fast, it was not like the crazy, ADHD phonetic where I'm like, I can't, slow down. I was just so full of energy, where it was like everything, I just felt so much creativity flowing through me, so much connection flowing through me, so much hope, so much joy. And I was having all of these moments like connection with you, connection with other people and friends, and all of this stuff was happening. And then I had a moment, and some of it's real personal stuff that I'm not going to share, but it felt like just this massive out-of-body experience where I tapped in and connected to this thing that I'm referring to, this consciousness, this space. And it was so it was the most powerful thing that I've ever experienced before. And there was such a sense of peacefulness and love and calm. And it was like instantaneously confirmation for me that it was all true. And everything became so simple for me after that, where I just saw everything through the lens from that point forward, that the matrix is structured and set up a way with the binary, right? It's the 1 and the 0. It's the light and the dark. It's the man and it's the woman. It's all of these examples of binary that we have in this experience. But when you boil everything down, the real binary that is existing here, and it's just the illusion, because the truth of it is it's all love. But the illusion is just, there's two choices, either love or fear. And I just decided that I was not ever going to go towards fear anymore. I was only going towards love. And if I encountered fear, then I was going to sit with it until I could turn it into love. And that's how I've been moving through life ever since then, where I see everything through that lens. I do my best to love myself. I do my best to take care of myself, because all I'm after now is I want to help other people figure that out for themselves. I want to help other people on their path to get to that spot where they're able to feel unconditionally loved, know that they're unconditionally loved, connect to that love so that they can face those fears. And it required, the process for me involved having to really confront all of my darkest fears. And in doing so, all of them went away and became love. And it was so clear to me.
We were meant to be. We were meant to be. We were meant to be.